Join us as we embark on a journey of art and heart, where every brushstroke tells a story, every sculpture shapes a life. I'm Jeremy Park, CEO of cityCURRENT, which is an organization with a mission to power the good through media, events, and philanthropy. We've teamed up with Marina Cutler and the Cutler Crane Gallery in Memphis, Tennessee to produce this recognition special that features their latest exhibition, A World of Our Own, where the art shouts, sings, and tells tales of adversity and triumph through the eyes of 15 extraordinary women. From established artisans to emerging artists, these creative women share a commonality. They all breathe life into their tales, tales that span generations, mediums, and themes. And beyond the canvas, clay, and cloth, there lies a deeper purpose, a promise of change, of hope, as we spotlight Thistle Bee, an initiative that empowers, heals, and is paving the future for the next generation. Before we spotlight the incredible talent, artwork, and mission of Thistle Bee, let's hear from Marina Cutler, the visionary behind this captivating convergence, as she opens her doors to us and offers some background on her personal perspective of this exhibition.
Welcome to the Crane Co. building in Memphis, and we're here at the Cutler Crane Contemporary Art Gallery. The reason that we are here is to celebrate A World of Our Own, an exhibition that talks about women in the art world, specifically Memphis women in the art world. And we're very excited to be doing that. The exhibition consists of 15 invited artists. And part of that was hand-selected artists that I have been either watching for a while or following because they have great stories and they have great artwork. But I don't seem to see them in many places in other locations other than maybe their studios or in a fair. So I thought it might be fun to celebrate them and talk about them here in the gallery. There's so many different techniques that are used in the art world. What I wanted to do is showcase everything from ceramic works, textile work, printmaking. We have some wonderful printmakers, and then more traditional artwork that's oil canvas work. And I think that, sometimes when people go to an art gallery and they look at traditional paintings, which is amazing, we have that, they don't understand or get the story that's behind something that might be a photograph put on a burlap bag, which we have. It's really being able to draw from the story and then look at how the medium is being shared, secondary. So really it's the story and how they choose to tell it. I wanted to just bring a bunch of different mediums, and really it starts with the artist and who the amazing artist is and why we connect and what story they're sharing.
Thank you, Marina and the Cutler Crane Gallery, for putting together this extraordinary exhibition. Let's now spotlight the incredible talent and artwork from our artists. We'll be sharing the artwork along with the interviews from the artists themselves, who discuss what inspired them to create their masterpiece. We'll also hear from Chloe Owens, a featured artist in this exhibition who has been gifted a 6-month residency in the Cutler Crane Gallery space to work on her artistry and then host her own exhibition later on. Sit back and prepare to be inspired.
My name's Angie Montgomery. I've been an artist since I was 4 years old. So I've been painting for a long time. I started private painting lessons at 12 and went to school for art. Nowadays, I live in Mississippi, so I paint a lot of natural elements. The piece you see behind me is from Butler Lake in Mississippi. So it's the muddy water splashing over your feet. It started with a lot of plein air sketches. I go outside and I collect sketches from the environment, a lot of photos and video footage. And then I bring it back into the studio and try to infuse the movements back into the painting. So this one was actually created with a really long stick to try to get that really expressive movement. I love all of these artists. Some of them were my teachers in school. Some of them I graduated with. So there are people above me and peers and new artists coming onto the scene. So I think that it's really exciting for women. It's hard as an artist. I mean, we submit to things like this all the time, but you never know if you're going to get in, right? It's always dependent upon somebody else's likes or dislikes of the art world. So just to be celebrated all together for excellence and community feels really good.
I am inspired by life around me. All of life inspires me to create. I enjoy people watching. I enjoy the beauty of the landscape. And I enjoy watching the advancement of the world. I have lived life in it. And so my artwork reflects all of that. One of the reasons why I use so many different medium is because I have a 30 plus years of teaching experience. I have taught kindergarten through 12th grade and have taught all subjects. And so my ability to work with media is broad. And I often bring various mediums into one piece, which is called mixed media. And presently I'm doing a lot of what's called assemblage, using some of my old artwork to pull it together and create new things in 3 dimensions. The 4 pieces in A World of Our Own are of African American women, and they reflect the evolution of women in the African American culture throughout a period of time. We find that time causes changes in fashion. It causes changes in the attitude toward what's going on in the culture. And it causes changes in the mindset of the people and how they express themselves. So these pieces, the 4 pieces in this exhibit show, the woman in the Gailey, for example, reflects the period of time when Black women were beginning to come into their own and to understand themselves and who they were as positive Black pride. The woman in the hat reflects a woman who wants to be integrated into the broader culture and be considered just a woman and not identified with a label. So there are 4 different expressions of women, and they are liner cuts. I have enjoyed the liner cut, and I have dozens and dozens of liner cuts from that period and more recently. And when people see those women and my artwork in general, I want them to see the human experience. I feel that these people express the human experience of Black women, but that experience is broad. We are, as human beings, a monolith. And though often we try to separate ourselves, it all comes to the same place when it comes to our joys and our sorrows and our hopes and ambitions. And I want people to connect to these women as being human beings who have experienced changes, who have expressed those changes in the form of their dress and in the form of the way they express themselves based on what's going on in the culture. I'm really excited to be in this exhibit. It's the first time that I've been able to exhibit in the place where I grew up and had my educational academic foundation. This exhibit is helping women who have been sex trafficked, and I think that is just a really positive way to use my gifts in order to support someone else.
My name is Brittany Boyd Bullock. I am from Memphis, visual artist here working in mixed media and fiber. My heart has always known that creativity was a part of my essence and in my ethos. I'm grateful to be able to say that I'm a full-time artist working and living in Memphis. And to be that in a place like Memphis is, I think, it's such a high regard for me. I don't take that lightly. being in a space like Memphis where there's such a historical legacy here, there are elders and storytellers and griots here, understanding this place and this land and the history here, and to be immersed in that, and be able to, I think, use creativity as a conduit to talk story in a way, right? It's super special. There are several things that inspire my work and my practice. So working in fiber and mixed media collage, there is a historical element that's in my work that's very important to me. When I was a child, I loved looking at images. It was one of my favorite things to do. And the power of an image is so, I think, pivotal in my work, especially my collage work, because I am often gathering images from the Memphis Library and the University of Memphis, right? And I'm gathering and cultivating these images to then put into my work. And so this historical legacy of imagery, story, Black people and our story is very important. And then also like the historical legacy of fiber, right? Living in a place like Memphis, where we're along the Mississippi River, right? We were, one of the biggest cotton distribution centers of the world, right? And knowing that medium of cotton helped to, establish our textile industry is very interesting to me, and the role that Black people played in that. So when I think about my work as a collage artist and as a fiber artist, I'm thinking about this historical legacy that I sit, right? And it's very important to me to understand what it means to be a Black woman artist, what it means to be an abstractionist, right? Because I make abstract work. What it means to be working with this material and the historical stories that come along there. As an artist, one of my superpowers in a way is that like I get to really kind of pay attention and focus on something and then give that back to the viewer, right? And then invite the viewer to then come into this container or this world that I've built, right? So that you could pay attention more. And I think about that and that responsibility as an artist in my work, to be able to, celebrate the idea that, we are working artists, showing and being celebrated, showing our work and being celebrated, I think is important. It's imperative, actually.
Hi, my name is Kim Ray Taylor, and I'm an artist. I'm included in the exhibition. Some of the work that is included is part of not just the art that I create, but also some of the research that I do. I teach for the University of Cincinnati, and the artwork is about, it's a way to document some of the women that were active in the early to mid 20th century, especially those who continued working into the latter part of the 20th century. So I'm interested, some of the research I do is centered around women artists and aging, how their work shifts as they grow older, but also how the work is perceived. But one of the motivations for creating the series that's featured, which there are prints of the actual paintings, but one of the motivations in creating it was just to document how they physically looked as older women. Oftentimes, if they are studied, they are looked at, and their earlier work is looked at. So a lot of the recognition of them as artists pertains more to them as younger women. I always hope that what the viewer takes away has something that is meaningful to them on a more visceral level. I try to create work that maybe prompts further, inquiry and maybe raises more questions than answers. It's always meaningful to me to be able to exhibit with other women identifying artists. I think that's important. And especially the conversation, the dialogue that can happen when it's a very specific kind of point of view. No matter what the subject matter is or the intent of the work, I always really, I just really like to seek out other women artists.
I knew from an early age that this was my way to express myself. And So I went to art school, and what better thing to do was to also major in graphic arts so that you could, support yourself and such. And I've used this particular piece. It's a mature piece. I've moved between abstract and representational. I started with watercolor, which many people just plein air painting and stuff. But this kind of thing gave me the chance to be forceful, sort of the internal thoughts and things that you can't speak about. You end up putting them in form, in calligraphy, so to speak, like drawing. It comes natural to me and I just do it. It's like anyone who finds what it is that makes them happy, gives them joy, and gives them a reason to be, this is what I do. And so when to have someone else come and say, it speaks to me too, then there gives an extra dimension of maybe I am moving people. Maybe I am giving my message to where it helps beyond just a pastime, just a way to earn a living or whatever. So I was born to do this. I don't know anything else I do as well.
It is so hard to get yourself into an art gallery and to even understand what the art world is after art school, which is the case in a lot of things. But here I have the opportunity that I can share my knowledge of running an art gallery, and we have people who have taught art. And what we decided to do as part of the exhibition was ask for submissions of emerging artists, local Memphis artists who want to have a studio space and want to share their artwork. So we had these submissions, and we were really fortunate to have the work of Chloe Owens, and she submitted her work, and her reason for why she paints is a story in itself. And that really touched my heart. She is able to use the studio space, and we're now able to see her develop. She will hopefully have great pieces that after 6 months of using the studio space as a residency, will showcase her work at some point in the future and do a celebration of her artwork. So we're really excited to do that. And I think it's important for us to make an effort to encourage young artists. It isn't just artists that are already established or working in the art field. I think it's important for us to say, you are starting out, I have this knowledge, how can we help you grow?
I started art when I was much younger. If you had caught me when I was 5 or 6, all that I was doing was going around drawing, tracing, designing dresses or designing buildings. And I always kind of had that creative spirit. As I got older, I kind of checked out of that a little and was like, all right, let me pick a real career and do that. So my background educationally is actually in social work. And I've done a lot of work in social work and politics. And how heavy that work is, working around racial justice. I've done work with women who have survived domestic and sexual violence, working with kids in schools, working on voting rights and democracy issues. That work is so heavy, and I kept needing to find a place to escape to. And the pandemic hit. We were all stuck in our homes, and I decided I'm going to order some canvas, I'm going to order some paint, I'm going to order a new set of Sharpies, and I'm going to do what I used to do best. And I kind of rediscovered myself through that. So what I do now feels like a picking up of a journey that I used to have and rediscovering me before the world told me who I was supposed to be. It's about escape. It's about imagination. It's about kind of getting away from a world that can be really cruel sometimes and really hard. I love when my family looks at my pieces and they'll say, oh, I see a lizard. This reminds me of a theme park. This reminds me of a cathedral. And so I think I want people to use their imagination when they look at it and see what they can discover. There's what I see, and then there's what everyone else who looks at it sees. And I think that's the most beautiful part, is that it's something that's not prescribed and everyone can have a different experience with it. So I mostly hope people are able to use their imagination and kind of escape into a place that is childlike, happier, filled with joy, and can give them a break from anything that could be hurtful or despairing or depressing. I moved back home to Memphis recently, and I'm sharing space with my mom. I moved back after we'd had a lot going on with our family and gave up my own space because I wanted to be here, to be closer to my family and have that time. And with that, I've kind of taken over our house. But it's hard to not have your own space and your own haven almost. And so to have that, there really actually aren't words. There aren't words. To me, and always, women are the backbone of so many things and are so often overlooked, counted out, or just not recognized for how much they contribute, how much they support, how much they build. Where would we be without women? I know, thinking about my life and my own growth, it just wouldn't be anything like it is. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing my art. I wouldn't have pursued these opportunities and challenges and risks, not only because of their encouragement, but the way they had my back, the way they supported me, the way that they just helped to lift me up. And I think it reminds me of that quote, "We rise by lifting others." It's so important that we do that. Women are so constantly helping to lift others up. And it's so important we turn that hand back to continue to lift each other up. That's how we get better. It's how we grow. And it's just how we're gonna have maybe not such a hard and cruel place to live in, which can be really difficult sometimes.
Now that we've showcased all of the artwork, it's time to share about the heart work of Thistle Bee, the beneficiary of this exhibition. You'll hear from Autumn Chastain, Thistle Bee's CEO, who has a background of significant experience in child welfare and family law, and a passion for protecting the rights of trafficking survivors, as she shares the mission of their organization and how their clinical program resources and social enterprise are breaking the cycle of poverty and multi-system failure that has brought us to a place where trafficking and abuse are at an unprecedented high.
Thistle Bee is a great organization, and everything that we do, we want to always have an association with someone who is doing good. In this case, this organization is promoting helping women. It's ran by women, and it is promoting and helping women who have been in either drug abuse or sex trafficking, and they're actually creating their own story in the art world because they are creating these delicious, oh my goodness, these fabulous honey and teas, and crafting and understanding how therapeutic it can be to create something. You start something from scratch and you look at it and you made that, and now you're sharing it with somebody else. So I think that that was a very important message that we wanted to share, how we want to support that organization, but how important that organization is, Thistle Bee, doing such great things. And it was so wonderful that we got to meet them and share.
I'm Autumn Chastain. I'm the CEO of Thistle Bee here in Memphis, Tennessee. We're a 2-year residential program for women survivors of trafficking and addiction. During the 2 years, they live in community, similar to the Beehive, and they do all the inner work that's the really tough work, the therapeutic work, to help break the generational curse of trauma that they've endured. And in it, they will receive financial literacy, they receive all the medical and dental care that they need, job skills training, education. We have some that are finishing their GED or HiSEC classes, and others that are already attending college. And so we assist them through that process. While they're there, they work in our social justice enterprise, which is maintaining beehives and harvesting the honey, making the products from the honey. The ladies come up with the recipes, they come up with what products we're going to sell, and then they sell them at markets and to our local retail partners and online. People never think that this problem can come into their house or can affect them, and the reality is that it's affecting our whole community. Again, from that generational effect that it has, from the digital access that people have in today's community. So if we raise awareness, then we make it where it's not a stigma to talk about it. And the more we talk about it, the more awareness is raised, and the way we are able to change our community and protect our community. And that protection or that change is going to affect down the line, and that makes Memphis a better place. What is really amazing is the women that come to us oftentimes come with no voice. It has been suppressed. They have been at others' whims and instruction to where they don't know themselves. And in the stillness that the organization provides, they're able to do that soul searching and find themselves and emerge. And the creativity that's in there, the talents that are in there are amazing. We have those that are, we call them the bee whisperers, dealing with the stinging in. We have those that come up with the recipes and have that creative mind. And we have those that come up with packaging and the displays at the events. They all have these talents in this artistry, and they all work together to strengthen each other, to celebrate each other, and it's beautiful.
Thank you, Autumn, for giving us a glimpse of the transformative power of compassion and community. Thistle Bee stands as a beacon, offering hope and heralding a brighter tomorrow for countless women. From those who've chartered their legacy to those who are just beginning their artistic journey, we've witnessed a confluence of generations, all united in their mission to share, to inspire, and to ignite change. Thank you again to the artists and everyone at Cutler Crane Gallery for producing a world of our own. As we close this chapter, let's carry forward the essence of what we've witnessed. Art isn't just about aesthetics, it's about impact. It shapes perceptions, molds societies, and above all, it tells us we're not alone in our battles. And thank you for watching this special recognition ceremony. Remember, every brushstroke has a story, every story a world, and in every world, there's hope.